Welcome, Chris Evans Radio. We are back with little Dave. Him and I were fucking ranting.
Yeah.
And I wish I would hit record, but listen, we'll get into it. So we are rolling his, I will tell, I'll share a little bit about your story. I had to increase your food and your skill weight dropped. And we both were like, let's just pause. Like, let's just let it weigh out. Like, send me your skill weight on Monday. And of course, that shit was right back up. So,
Mm.
a little word to the wise in the coaching community out there, like, never allow one singular skill weight or check in to fully dictate a move, right? Because when I looked at your photos, it wasn't like, oh God, you were deflated like a balloon getting
Yeah.
pumped. And you were like, training performance is great, digestion is great. I'm like, all right, let's just pump the brakes. Because I mean, I could have said, all right, cool, let's bump our carbs by 50, jump our fat by 20, and then I'll definitely push it up. But I'm like, yeah, let's just see. And you were right back up. So
Mhm.
I think that's a cool lesson for everyone out there. And for you as an athlete, like not to panic and like Chris, why didn't Chris increase my food? Like it would have been so easy for you to have one of those like meltdown moments, like, oh my God, my weight's supposed to be going up, not down. And then he said, hey, just chill out. Like, explain that thought process. Like, I mean, I know you're a veteran competitor at this point, you know this what I just said is a fact, but is there anything you lean on in moments like that, maybe earlier in your career, where it was like, he's right, let's just ride this out?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the times it goes back to like the last three sessions I've had in the gym,
Yes. Yep.
because like if I'm checking with you and I'm like, oh man, strength's up, I'm getting awesome pumps. And then I hop on the scale and like it doesn't say what things are saying, like
Right.
doesn't correlate.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like, all right, cool, I really don't give a shit. Because
Right.
like, if I'm in a dieting phase and I'm like, all right, man, strength is awesome, it's not going down. I you know, feel like the workouts are trending positively
Yes.
and food's being in, I'm nailing that completely. I hop on the scale and my scale's the same weight. I mean, that's basically how every fucking prep goes for me,
Yes.
you know? Like if I don't see a drop, I'm like, all right, cool, it's fine. As you see the check-in photos and you're like, oh, that's because I'm getting leaner and I'm still full.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. On the flip side of the coin of pre-contest and how your body reacts, like so many inexperienced coaches would like hit the panic button and they'd be like, he's not following the plan. He needs to do more cardio. I need to pull his carbs back. And I'm like, yeah, you're leaner. Like, and then I look to your body parts that tend to store fat and like, okay, cool. Like that's tighter. That's tighter. I see more detail here. Like he's able to really open up and hit that front double. I can start to see the fibers of serratus. Okay, awesome. Like, and then everything in my mind is like, okay, cool. Like the scale, and this is what I'd say to everyone. The scale is simply one tool to judge the whole equation. I'm not going to put my entire stock of coaching in that one variable.
Yeah.
Now, if you were, say, a classic athlete and had to make a weight, at the very end, that's a different conversation.
Hmm.
But for an
Which
open,
sometimes sucks. I mean, I have a guy who has to weigh in. Well, I'm having his wife measure him again because like he's 5'10". So he's either 194 or 202.
oh, that's a huge
And
difference.
he's 204 this morning and it's been like day 4 of like low food,
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, cool. Like how long can we manage this with training performance
right.
while also like, that's either 2 pounds or 7,
Yes. Yeah.
you know?
Get on that inversion table, homie.
Yeah, yeah. Get taller.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, again, the lesson to me there, if you aren't doing a weight class category, is I will always lean on things that are way more tangible in terms of the look, which if you have a new client, that can be hard because you don't know their body yet. But for someone like you who's worked with me for 8 years, like I know that shit. I know what to look for. And then on the flip side, like I always lean heavily, as you know, is training performance, how the weights, how are the pump, like what do you feel like when you walk around and exist? Those are way more important to me than a scale number because honestly, I mean, I think you've probably experienced this too. Like you can have one shitty night's sleep and the scale do weird shit. It either direction, meaning up, down, or stay the same. Like
Mhm.
And that's just based on sleep, much less like a stress response. Like, let's say your dog dies. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, you text me like, hey, my dog died. I had to go take it to the vet. Like, I'm not going to put stock in what your weight says the next day or two, maybe even three. Um, much less you have something tragic like a family member or, you get fired from your job or something crazy like that can impact the scale way more than your look can get affected, if that makes sense.
Super true.
As long as you aren't, eating your face off.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like when those two go hand in hand because a lot of times like that fuck it mentality is there.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like one thing goes bad and then everything goes bad.
Yes.
And then it's at that point it's just like, all right, we're stuck playing damage control after that.
Right. Yeah. Yep. The amount of times I've had those emails,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, cool. Got it. That's the past. Here's the plan moving forward. You have to execute. And I mean, that's how I've always handled it is like, I can't make you not have eaten, not skipping your workout, not training, doing God knows what behavior. But what I can affect is what we do every step moving forward. And I can pray to God that what we do can cover up the discrepancy.
Yeah.
And listen, sometimes it works well, and sometimes you would never know. And then other times, like you get the person on stage, and you're like, man, like, what if that didn't happen? And that's worst case scenario as a coach because people are like, oh man, Chris didn't have him in shape. Yeah, man. Yeah. That I was playing damage control the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 days. Honestly, shit, I've had it last 3 hours where it's like a guy smashes a bunch of diuretics, eats brownies and cookies, and smashes water. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to you? And they're like, I did this, this, and this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
There's no
Dude,
going back.
that's that was a wild thing too. I've been there where I'm like the last week you're like these things are not making sense. Is the changes we're making aren't making sense? And then like you get to the show and you're like you see like you're like all right cool, and then you see what how they actually do it. And it's like they just like the show day they're eating a bag of fucking gummy bears. It's like the fuck is this? You know? You're like well that makes sense on this look. Like you don't fucking tell me what you're doing. Like fuck.
Like, I had a
Yeah.
guy using what he thought was 0 calorie chocolate syrup in his oats, and it was regular Hershey syrup. I was like, "Do you always put this in your eggs?" And he's like, "I put it in my eggs, I put it in my oats, I put it in my cream of rice." I'm like, "All right." I was like, "Flip that around." I was like, "Do you see that's calories?" He's like, "I never even looked at that." Okay,
Yeah. Dude, it's actually really crazy. The fucking G Hughes's barbecue sauce.
right.
They make a couple different ones what are like sugar free,
Oh yeah,
but have like 20 grams of fat per serving.
yeah. They're not fat free.
I had one girl text me like she checked in and like this trend was just going this way. And I
Mhm.
was like, what changed?
Right.
You know? And I was like, can you send me a photo of your meals today? Like
Yeah.
as you go to eat them? And I'm like, I see it on like meal four goes by and I'm like, what's the yellow sauce you're using on every meal? And she's like, oh, this, it's the sugar-free stuff. And I was like, I Google it and I'm like, well, you're adding 600 calories a day to your meal plan,
Right. Right.
you
And
know?
most people aren't going to measure that shit either. So it's probably 1,000.
Yeah.
Because listen, all that extra fat probably tasted delicious.
Oh, this that stuff had to been amazing. She's like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
the best meals I've had so far.
It's like I had a client once that was like, "Oh, my wife brings me Chick-fil-A sauce to dip my chicken in." You ever seen the macros on
Yeah,
that?
it's the same shit. It's like 20 grams of fat per serving.
I'm like,
Those little squares from Chick-fil-A, if you ever Google the serving, like that serving size is that little square. It's like
uh
140 calories.
yeah, right. Oh yeah. He was dumping two of those on his chicken and rice. And I'm like, bro, that's not zero. He's like, oh shit. Okay. So again, just be very mindful of those little silly things in my mind that are like I think you and I view those as like very novice behavior, right? Like, but I mean, I think it goes to all accounts. I've seen like good veteran competitors having like almond butter with the palm oil in it, or not getting natural peanut butter. Like that's just peanuts and salt.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
kind of chuckle a little bit every time I go backstage and there's like jars of Jiffy. It's like
yeah,
I want to know what these people's blood work looks like because like those the fatty acid compound, like your HDL cholesterol is probably. I'm not saying it's getting skewed because of the peanut butter, but it ain't helping it.
right. And I mean, even the Jif natural it has molasses in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you guys not looking at these? Like, it's wild to me that someone would like pick up a jar of almond butter and not look at the ingredients.
Hmm.
Because honestly, with what most people are eating, you might as well eat fucking Nutella. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, if your nut butter isn't just the nut that is involved in salt, you're in a bad spot. That's not an acceptable fat source in my mind. Um, but I know that most people are like, oh, it's fine. Like, it has 10 grams of fat in it, so I'll just match my macros. I'm like, I don't know. To me, that's not crossing the T's. That's just not. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm sure there's people out there that say, Chris, but so and so won an Olympia doing that. I'm like, okay, that's them.
Yeah. Like we all know Ronnie Coleman used fucking Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. You
Right.
know, like
Yep. Yeah.
if you turn around and your glutes don't look like Ronnie Coleman at any point in your career, adding that's not going to fix that.
No, not one bit. And I think I even saw an interview with Chad Nichols where he said he factored that in there. He was like, that was fully in his meal plan, meaning like he accounted for it. So,
Hmm.
it's one of those things where you can definitely get away with those things if your coach knows it. But the problem is that, what we're talking about here is if you and I aren't accounting for you drinking a regular Coke every night with dinner, then of course we're going to not be able to give you the best result. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. It comes to communication with your coach.
yep, yep,
Like, it's one of those like I'm probably not going to text you if like I make some wonky substitution, but like if I'm doing something crazy wrong, like oh by the way, I'm eating an entire jar of pickles for with meal five, like
yeah, yeah.
is that calorie free at that point?
See, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I think you actually said this to me when we were in Vegas. You were like, there is only one thing that's truly calorie free, and it's water. Didn't you say that to me?
Hmm.
I think you said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is such an intuitive statement because I don't think people realize that. They're like, oh, that stick of gum doesn't matter. Have you ever looked at a bag of gum? If you chew a pack of that shit, you just took down 16 grams of carbs. Those are accounted for. Like, and I know they're like, oh, Chris, like 16 times four is not that big of a deal in terms of total calories. What is, if you're on fucking no carbs, like that to me is altering the meal plan,
Hmm.
or the intent of it, right?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, as much as I love these energy drinks, I mean, if you look at the back here, it's got 2 grams of carbs in it. If
Yeah.
you don't tell me you're sucking down three of these a day, and I don't recommend that, by the way, but let's say you aren't, like that's something we have to play into if you aren't getting in shape. I know you drink those, and I don't give a fuck because condition isn't an issue. If
Hmm.
you were a client who the feedback was always, Dave's got to get harder, Dave's got to be crisper, that's stuff we would look at. We would look at things like measuring your seasonings, your sauces, how many packets of Splenda are you using? Like, what do you put in your coffee? Like, those are things we would look at for someone who cannot get in shape. And I think that's where the individual client variability doesn't make sense to a lot of coaches because they don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's black and white. Like, it's very simplistic. You either get in shape or you don't. If you're getting in shape, I say keep that thing the same. Keep all your sauces in, use flavored cream of rice, do all of that. But if you're someone who is like, that you keep getting the same feedback, hamstrings aren't hard enough, abs are soft, like we're going to start looking at things that are outside of what I would consider normal, like what are you putting on your food? Switching to like the plain Jane Bola gains, for example. Like I'm not saying all of that's going to break the bank for some people, but I would rather exhaust those options and be like, cool, that's not it.
Yeah.
It's not the Diet Coke we're having at dinner, right? But the only way we know is if we pull it. If we pull it and you get substantially harder, Like, that's crazy, right? Because I'll give you a good
Mhm.
example. I think I've told this story before that Mark Lobliner came to Gold's and he was giving away EAAs, that extend product. Like it was, they were cheap as shit. He was selling it for like $10 for a giant bucket of it, right? Every one of my competitors bought it and put it in their water. And that
Mhm.
gallon jug there, sucking it down, fucking Kool-Aid. And everyone stopped getting results. Like their fat loss was just halt for most. I had a couple guys who like it doesn't matter because I think they just fucking out trained it. But next thing you know, I was like, oh, something doesn't add up. Cut that bullshit out for 2 days and see what happens. And the next thing you know, right back to loss. Simple as that.
Mhm.
I'm not saying essential amino acids are bad for you for fat loss, but if you drink it all day, it's doing something to your fat loss process. I'm not smart enough to tell you. I would assume it's because it's such a trickle of nutrients all day long. Like, and your blood sugar never has a chance to like calm down and just like be chill and burn fat. So
Mhm.
that mixed with artificial sweeteners, mixed with the dyes, mixed with it actually having calories. I think it's really funny that most people understand that essential amino acids is a protein.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those funny nutritional claims because like they don't have to claim it's not a complete protein.
Right.
This
Right.
is the funniest thing with nutritional labels. It's like the double standard, right? If it's not a complete protein, they don't have to count it as calories. But if
Yeah.
it's not a complete protein, they can still call it a protein source.
Right.
Like that's why we have all these fucking protein bars where we're like, we made this out of collagen, an incomplete protein. So it has 20 grams of protein per bar, but it also has less calories, but none of this actually helps you build muscle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's what's really interesting to me about all of this is when you look at it as a whole, like you and I are speaking this like how aren't people understanding this? But like everyone, we had to learn this. Like,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of times coaches, and if you're coaching yourself, you're getting new into this environment, you don't have an idea of like any of this stuff we're speaking about. And that's part of, again, why I think being a veteran competitor matters and why having a podcast like this matters because people may not consider it, right? Like, if I go in there and I look at that GQ sauce that I'm going to put on my next meal, it's got carbs in it. Those carbs have to be burned off, meaning by
Mhm.
movement. If I reach a fat loss point where my body fat's not dropping and I don't want to lower calories or increase cardio, that's low-hanging fruit to me.
Mhm.
Guess what doesn't have calories? Salt and pepper.
Yeah.
So, what if I always want to think about, let's just run an experiment. Let's see what happens. And for the next 3 days, I'm not using any sauces. If that was me, and see what happens. If I get tighter and leaner and harder, I'm just gonna rock it out for 35 more days. Who gives a fuck? It's 35 days if that's all it takes. And that puts my mind at ease. Like, okay, cool. I've done everything in my power. Awesome. Let's do it. So
Mhm.
that's Chris and
I mean,
Dave.
it goes the other way too.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
like if it doesn't change much in 35 days, but like on the plus side, like people like Ross or Jordan Hutchinson,
Yep.
if you accounted for all the meals they ate on plan versus their off plan meals because of the food they're eating, both of those guys eat bags of cream of rice a day.
Yes,
Like Jordan in his off season, I could assume he probably goes through an entire bag of cream of rice a day,
I would assume the same.
right? However, because he's doing that, he's not eating Five Guys twice a week.
Correct.
Maybe
Yes.
he's doing it once.
Right.
And that compounding interest of him staying on his meal plan with the extra 30 calories
Yep.
from what the bowl of gains has versus unflavored plain cream of rice,
Yes.
it averaged out.
Right.
He's actually in a deficit, like not that calorie deficit, but like 1,000 calories from the off-plan meal, or the extra 30 times 10, so
Right.
300 calories
Right.
from the meal of having bowl of gains on plan
Yes.
for the course of the week,
Right.
you know? And then when he follows that through his off season, that number keeps creeping up.
Yeah.
That one stays there too,
Yeah.
but it's a variable, but he's already in charge of it. But
Correct.
then when he comes into an off season to a cut phase,
Yeah.
all of those calories what he didn't eat added up as well. So he doesn't have to take those off.
Right. Yes.
So he's starting from a leaner set point.
Yes.
so he can leave them in.
Right. Yep. I also think I'm so glad you went that route because I would have not touched on this. The reason you and I eat the same foods is because they're constants. I eat that brownie batter bowl of gains every day. So when I go from 102 grams to 85 grams to 51 grams to 34 grams, guess what happens? I get leaner.
Yeah, it's a variable. It's been very well documented.
Right.
You know, like we're not starting prep eating whatever the fuck we want and going to regular cream of rice and then going from regular cream of rice to bowl of gains when
Right.
we're 5 weeks out because Dave and Chris told us about it on the podcast.
Right. Yes.
You
Exactly.
know, they're like, oh
Yep.
wow, this is way better than the plain cream of rice I was eating before. It's like, yeah,
Yep.
no shit, but it's also
Yep.
different than the one you're eating before.
Right. Yes. And that's huge, right? Because like because if you ever everyone asks me like the sauces, the sugar-free ketchups, I'm like, I have that all off season. It is a constant in my plan. If I have potatoes, I have sugar-free ketchup. I just had it with my last meal. So in
Hmm.
prep, if I have potatoes, I have sugar-free ketchup on it. I measure it to the gram. I eat it. It's done. But like you said, if you're going through your prep and your coach has you on like boiled chicken and white rice, and then you're like, oh, Chris posted a sushi rice video. I'm gonna eat that instead. Guess what, motherfucker? That has more calories in it. But if every day in the off season I had 300 grams of sushi rice, when I take it to 220 to 105 to 75, I'm getting fat loss. The rice didn't change. Just the volume
Hmm.
amount of it did. And when I add the carbs from sushi rice back in, I'm going to add it back in and it's going to elicit a result and I can document that. And I know like, okay, cool. Like I was, I needed 225 grams of sushi rice at that meal. Perfect. It made give me a great look. 300, it was too much. 150, too little. And I think that again, that's where everyone tries to get too cute, right? I always say the time for new shit isn't the last 4 weeks. You save that for after the prep.
Hmm.
You just do. I don't care. You're hungry? I get it. Your brain is kind of frazzled. But if you start adding in outside extraneous variables, like something as simple as this, if I'm eating Teddy's peanut butter, which is peanuts and salt, and then I go get Professor Nuts or one of the flavored protein or flavored peanut butters, that's different. Or one of the peanut butters that have like protein added to it. Stop getting cute. Stop it. That to me, those are great for the off season and rebound. Hell yeah. Go eat your fucking cookie butter until you're blue in the face as long as you match the macros. But dear God, don't add, if your peanut butter has sprinkles in it,
Yeah,
you have better been eating that all prep.
yeah, no joke. Don't be adding that in at 4 weeks out because now everything tastes good and you need to have a fix, you
Right.
know, because you're
Yes.
following your macros.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
like exactly what, it's just like those things can be in play, but like just keep them in there the whole time. Don't be,
Correct. Which is why you and I bang on off season should look no different than prep. It's just a little bit less food and cardio
yeah.
is added in. Like if everything's the same, I get my chicken from the same spot. It's the same. My body knows no different. It's like, okay, cool. Like my protein, my chicken went from 170 grams to 200 to 225 to 250. All,
Hmm.
it's still the same chicken. The
Yeah.
rice, it's the same thing. You get your rice from Costco. It's the same fucking rice. You cook it the same in your same rice cooker. Like it's just like to me, it's like all that little shit adds up. And if you're someone who struggles to get in shape and peak perfectly, I would really look at those little variables that most people view as like non-essential because the reason I'm able to manipulate your plan so well is I know that like if I say, all right, Dave, I want you to have steak at meal 6 and meal 3, it's the same steak you've been eating this whole time. Unless you, I mean, if you find like a good cut for like cheap, you're gonna get it, right? Because you were getting those
Hmm.
steaks for what were they, 5 or 10 bucks? I can't remember. They were glorious,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The
So,
best thing ever
yeah.
for like top, sirloin.
Right. Now, if anything, you upgraded.
Yeah.
You're getting better meat. So, it's like one of those things like I know that most people don't think about little stuff like that, but it's easy to know that like you've always been like, hey, Chris, I'm trying the Trained by JP cream of rice. Hey, I'm trying the True Nutrition cream of rice. Like, you'll tell me that stuff because it matters. Like, it just does. If you were doing the old John concoction bowl where you were adding in that sugar-free or fat, whatever, the calorie-free Hershey syrup, if we weren't measuring that, I'd be like, hey, bro, like, can we just do one serving and see what happens? Like, yeah, cool. Like, yeah, that's again, we probably beat a dead horse here, but
Hmm.
it kind of leads into to one of the topics that you wanted to talk about, which is hilarious that we went down that route. Is you were talking about food choices and people just simply overcomplicating it. Like, what are you seeing that made you have that realization?
Oh my goodness, just like what we've been going on there too. Like, I get like when it comes to like protein sources, consistency of what you're doing matters so much more than, like what it actually is.
Yes.
Like, if you've been eating chicken, and it's been working, turkey's not better.
No.
It's just a different thing,
Agreed.
and there doesn't need to be this huge like thought process on it. I feel like so many people overcomplicate that,
Mm.
or they undercomplicate it, and like 90% of their protein is just whey protein.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, I feel like that's just not done enough in, when it comes to like making accurate substitutions.
Yes.
Because that's the fun part about bodybuilding in life. Like, we can be as robotic as we can.
Mm.
There's gonna be times where I go to the store and there's like, hey, they sold out of chicken.
Right. Yeah.
Do I just not eat my meal plan for the week? Do
Right.
I freak out and be like, okay, every meal from here on out is Five Guys,
Right. Yeah.
you know? Or do I, all right, cool, let's go look at the turkey selection.
Right. Yeah.
That's where the overcomplication is. It's the same thing with training. Like, I can't, how many times have we gone to the gym together and like, well, that machine's taken. What can I do instead of that? And that's like a very much a learned skill,
Yes. Yes.
but it gets overcomplicated to death,
Mhm. Yeah.
because we got kids who are more focused on, the optimal everything, and it's like, why don't we just do a row?
Yes. Yep.
You
Yep.
know? Oh, like, well, what about, isn't this cut of steak a little bit better absorbed than flank steak? It's like, how about you just eat some meat? Like, it doesn't need to be so complicated for bodybuilding. It's one of those things that's just comical because it's just like, what about my hydrolyzed beef protein isolate? Is that better than flank steak? It was like, fuck if I know, but I don't want to drink my food.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. You hit on so many good topics there. I don't even know where to start. Like, step one, I've seen countless guys who are on a tight budget grow off of Walmart ground beef that is straight bottom of the barrel like quality. And they were just super consistent with it. And they would strain it and they would rinse it and then they'd eat it. Like, when I was in college, I didn't give a absolute donkey fuck about organic, grass-fed, cage-free. It didn't matter. It was what can I get the most of for the least amount of my money. I want those big cartons of eggs that's like stacks of 24, and I can suck
Mhm.
those down. Awesome. Okay, cool. Giant bags of rice and potatoes. That big pack of ground beef. How can I cook that, freeze it, and portion it? Like, those are all things that I want to think about.
Mhm.
Right? And I did some good growing then, right? Like, we're now, like, yes, I'm able to afford more top shelf food. But I think back to when I was younger and I'm seeing all these young kids, like as you said, hyper complicate and try to over focus on these little nitty gritty details. And it's like, you would do a lot better if you just ate more.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No joke.
and I know
Versus,
that,
like, I mean, I see so many things with like, well, my fitness pal says I'm not getting enough manganese, so I need to eat more oysters. And it's just like,
yeah.
I think you'll be fine.
Right.
I think you will be fine.
Yep. The oh my word, this is an incredible story. I know I told it on a podcast somewhere. Maybe it's one of my buddies, Ryan. I had this kid. And listen, I'm not going to put a ton of vegetables on someone's plan if they're small, because the answer is if you're not big, I need every bit of stomach space to put actual nutrient building, muscle building calories in your body, right? I don't need you to eat 2 heads of broccoli that has 35 calories. And he came at me and he was like, Chris, I'm missing these nutrients and these micronutrients, and I need this and that. And I was like, look, bro, broccoli isn't the reason you aren't growing. It's the fact that you can only eat 3 of these 6 meals and you're throwing the rest of them away. And he was like, but I'm deficient. And I'm like, let's drink a greens drink or take a fucking pill and learn how to get your fucking food in. And
Mm,
it took him 6 months to realize
yeah,
that the importance is the 50 grams of protein, the 50 grams of carbs, the 10 grams of fat. I was trying to get him used to eating every 2.5 hours.
yeah,
And that made him grow at a faster clip than, as you were saying, like him being deficient in calcium by 36 micrograms. Like,
yeah. Well, and it's going into our next next topic is I can't tell you how many people are so obsessed with optimizing their mitochondria
oh,
with
yes,
peptides. And it's like you said, with the meals you said, like we need 50 grams of protein, we need 50 grams of carbs, and we need a fat source,
right,
depending on where that meal falls.
right, yes, yes,
So many people are like, my mitochondria is not working well, and that's because I'm not losing weight because of it. It's like, when's the last time you did cardio? And they're like, and this is the part of bodybuilding what drives me up a wall personally is the picking up the pennies on the floor when there are actual $100 bills next to them.
yes, yes,
Like the amount of pennies you have to pick up for the $100 bill or even the $1 bill.
right,
Like
yes,
in my mind, I'm picking up the hundreds first,
yes,
and I'm gonna have a good day.
yep,
Like I am definitely never gonna start picking. If there's a bunch of cash on the floor, and I'm picking up the hundreds first.
yes,
I am never starting with the pennies. Because you're only gonna have time to pick up so many of them before your bodybuilding career is over.
right,
And
yes,
if you spend all of your time picking up the pennies, wondering why you're not eating broccoli for your, you know, in your protein in your meal plan when you could have just had meat and rice
right,
and called it a day, versus trying to figure out the actual, like, I'm not saying micronutrients are, there's nothing wrong with them. I'm just saying worrying about micronutrients when you're not even eating your macros is
yes,
comical.
yes,
You know, it's like the same thing as like wondering about the proper rep range and the right linear curve of force when you don't even train to failure.
right, yes, right, yes,
It's like those concepts just go out of your way. We got
oh,
people taking 14 different peptides in the morning to not even do cardio,
right, yes,
because they think they can do this instead of the cardio. Or they're like, I'm going to take retatrutide and now I don't have to diet. I can just not eat.
right, yep,
And it's like, well, see what happens. But all of those things, like they're tools,
yes,
but it doesn't matter if you have the tool if you don't have the end product what you want.
right, yes,
Like, why on earth would I go to Home Depot and buy the nicest screwdriver if I don't have a screw to put in the wall?
right,
Right? Those mitochondria health supplements, like if you're gonna take MOTS-C or like the SLU or whatever you want to call it,
yep,
like you better be fucking busting your ass in the gym
right,
because that's where the mitochondria is gonna really fucking work. You know
yes,
what I mean? Like you better fucking go outside and see some sunlight.
right, yep, yep. I said to you off camera, I was like, these are the same kids who will take 15 fucking peptides and then tell me they can't afford growth hormone. Listen, I will take moderately dosed test, low dose GH over 127 peptides all day long. You give me 2 kids, one that's loaded with peptides and one the one I just said, moderate test, low dose GH, that's a good source. This kid right here, if they both work equally, will be here in 5 years. Hate to break
Yeah.
it to you. It's just the fucking truth. So if
Yep.
you were on a budget and you don't have unlimited disposable income, that stuff to me is stupid. I
Hmm.
am sorry. It just is. Like
Yeah.
you and I've said this 1,000 times, probably more. We know what testosterone does in the male body. We know it. I know what happens if I give you testosterone and I suggest you eat a bunch of food and you train your face off. I know what's happening. Growth. Those peptides that are just coming out, no one knows the long-term benefits of them. No one. And if they do, they're fucking full of shit. Everyone knew the long-term effects of those like crazy like, things that they suggested we take during the C word, right? Now, suddenly, all of the science doesn't add up, which is why I made that freaking shade post about not using retatrutide and getting in shape. As I've said 1,000 freaking times, bodybuilders have been getting in shape since Arnold's day. And I know you're gonna say, "Oh, Chris, they're not as in shape then." Okay, cool, awesome. Fast forward back to 2000 and go look at every nationals and tell me those dudes weren't peeled. The overall winners of the class and the overall winner of the whole show.
Hell, even look at the top five at the 2000s.
Yes,
You know,
yes, yep,
like those guys, everybody at the national level shows they were in shape.
yes,
And we add all these fucking peptides, and that's still the thing people struggle with.
right, yes. I'm not seeing crazier condition. So my question is always why? Okay, cool. You want to make bodybuilding easier. Okay, got it. That makes sense to me. We do flavored creamer rice because it tastes better. I get it. It's a similar parallel.
Mhm.
But to me, if I'm speaking about any of those things, I would always ask you this: what is the downside or the potential downside? And as I said to you off camera, just because it works for you doesn't mean it works for me.
Mhm.
And I gave you a great example of three different guys using Tren and how each one of them responds differently.
Mhm.
So to think that all these people out there just spouting off how, for example, I'm just going to bang on this one because it's the top topic of the Reddit True Tide. Man, it works for me. Everyone should use it. Okay, why? If you get someone like me who is naturally supposed to be super skinny and you wreck their appetite and potentially give them digestive paralysis, is that going to allow me to grow my back? I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
I had to fight too fucking long to get my appetite to where I can smash food to give it up for a potential 1 to 2% less hunger pain. I can deal with hunger, homie. I've done it for fucking 2 decades.
Yeah.
I don't need
Yeah.
that.
It's that same with every yes, you have to say no to something, you
Right.
know?
Yes.
And you add in enough random bullshit, and like that it turns into a very big gray area.
Yes.
Because I mean, if anybody wants to do this outside, like on the podcast, like we are all, it's like the hype right now is that my optimizing your metabolic health,
Right. Yeah.
which honestly, like we overcomplicate the fuck out. But please do me a favor, go Google metabolic pathways in the body.
Mhm.
There's like 700 of them,
Right.
right? I mean, cool. If you optimize one of them, there's still 699 other ones. What you could be doing better on.
Yes.
But the funny fucking thing is, what optimizes all of them is working out, eating in a sustainable fashion, in movement.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like those are three fucking pure. That's a fucking bottom layer.
Right.
And if you don't have your diet in place, like what the fuck are you doing? Like I'm not gatekeeping at all. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I just think it's hilarious to go buy a spoiler for a car that doesn't have tires on it.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm going to say this because I believe it's true. And I know coaches out there are going to not be happy about this, and I don't care. If someone tells me to take this plethora of peptides and they give me their discount code, I'm going to be leery.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because we get paid off of that. Just like your doctor gets paid when they write you a prescription. Fun fact, every time I sell a bag of cream of rice with my code, I get paid for that. Now, I believe in that shit. I'm going to write it in your plan no matter whether I get paid for it or not.
Yep.
So, to me, when I suggest granite recovery or our joint care, fill in the blank, it's because I believe in that product and I'm going to give it to you whether I get paid or not.
Yeah, and it's not just cut and dry. Like
Yeah,
those are products that work really well, and we're not just like
yeah,
if I were at a plan and I'm like, all right, cool, this cream of rice is delicious, and I
mhm,
think you will like it.
yes,
That is a fact from coming from me. I am
yes,
not having you be like, oh, because you're training, you need TB 500 and BPC at 500 micrograms a day.
right,
I need you burning through bottles as a fit model athlete of BPC, and it's not anabolic, but you need to be on it for the entire year. And by the way, that's 400 bottles a year, and they're $50 a piece because I get $25 from each one of them.
yeah, yeah,
You know, like fucking don't do that.
yes. Uh, there was a very popular coach who's no longer in the industry, and you can put the pieces together and figure out who that is if you've been around long enough. Anytime I got a client from him, they would show me the list of raw supplements they would be on, and I would be like, Jesus Christ,
Mhm.
it would be more than the coaching. And I'm like, what can we eliminate?
Yeah,
Dear God, like you were just, he just pickpocketed you, man, from both levels, from coaching, because the wife was doing the coaching, and then he was literally stealing from you for supplements.
super
Like,
true. Well, it's funny too. I actually I recommend all sorts of supplements to people, but I really like the Leviathan brand because
right,
that's what I use personally, and I have blood work of me and clients to back it up, but I know it fucking works.
right,
You
yes,
know, and if someone's like, "Hey, I don't want to take the kidney from Leviathan because it's too expensive," I'm like, "Okay, cool. These are your other options.
yep,
You know, like that will work." But I also want to make sure you're taking them.
yes,
Like, I want you need to be doing something in this route,
yeah,
and that's the fun point because it's just like, okay, let's see what happens. Like, you can definitely take the easier way out. There's not another product like this that exists,
right,
but there's similar options. But let's see what blood work says.
right, yeah,
And if your blood work comes back, and you're like, it's good, that's phenomenal. And then also like that also might mean we have to change dosages around.
right, yeah,
Like if you're not okay taking your health supplements and your health gets out of whack, it's like, okay, cool, we can't do the things that are putting your health out of whack if you don't manage that.
right,
It's the same thing. It's like, okay, if you got a client is unable to do cardio because of time constraints, you get to eat less.
right, yeah, yeah.
It's not because I hate you. It's just the option you played out.
Yeah. It's like if you tell me, Chris, I don't have time for cardio. Okay, cool. We're gonna eat less.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
You know, you've spent enough time around me to know, like, if we travel, you come to my house, whatever. All the shit that I've ever written in your program is in my cabinets.
Hmm.
Like, literally, you can come and be like, hey, Chris, like, do you have any creatine? Yeah, it's right in the bottom. And you know what it is because it's a black granite bag.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. When he comes to my house, you'll see very, very blatantly what I like Leviathan supplements because that's
right,
what my counter's full of. I have the Granite supplements, I have their pre-workout,
right.
I
Yep.
have other things that I like, and there's not a single fucking thing what I've included in a plan where I haven't taken personally.
Yes. Agree. Yes. Agreed. You open my fridge, I have every flavor gang sauce. Open the cabinet. I think last time you were here, I was like, "Hey, that Granny's strawberry, I don't like. Have at it, homie." Me
Yeah.
being brutally honest with you, like I love the chocolate. I like most of them. Like I have ones that I like obviously more than others, but it's like I would I would never feel comfortable recommending a supplement that I don't use or haven't used and then don't believe in. And I've always been open and upfront when we've had any type of conference calls on Granite, for example, and they're like, Chris, you never recommended the plant protein that we sold. Nope, I don't. I don't use it. I don't like it. The macronutrient profile on it's trash. And I'll be honest with you, like, right? Like, I
Mhm.
know that sucks. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow if you're a supplement company holder and you're like the guy who sells the most supplements of everyone on the team, like, is saying, hey, this vegan shit's trash. And it's true, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, guys, take this because we're running a sell on it. No, if I'm forced to post, I'm going to say if you need a vegan protein, here it is. I don't use it. And I will be honest with you because I
Hmm.
don't. The only reason it was in my cabinet for a little bit of time is because I just sent it to me for free to try it. And I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah, that's the very much my experience with those that shit too. It's funny.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, to me, that just comes back to integrity, right? Like, and I, listen, I know that my coaching isn't cheap. I know that a lot of the things that I may recommend aren't always the most cost effective. Do I build cost effective plans if you need it? Yes. But I'm never gonna purposely make you eat canned tuna because you don't need to.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
another part of that, I mean, that's the harsh reality of bodybuilding is if that's one thing I've always had this conversation with people when it comes to a lot of things when it comes to cost of stuff. Where it's just like, oh man, this growth hormone's expensive. It's like,
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
you told me you wanted to be in, national level, you want to go get your pro card, you want to compete at nationals and be competitive, right? It's the same thing as like, okay, cool. I bought a Lamborghini. I can't go to the neighborhood tire store to buy tires.
Nope.
They don't have them. And if I got tires from them, I'm gonna break my fucking car,
Right. Yeah.
you know? And that could be your choice.
Mhm.
But the thing is, if you want a high level outcome,
Yep.
you have to pay the fucking price for it.
Right. Yep.
That means that I'm not just saying supplements and you can't buy bodybuilding, but that means the work you're doing, the cardio, the food you're eating, that has to be, but that is what you need to do. And yes, that includes making sure you're having high quality food, fucking sleep, you know, your supplements.
Yep.
I've yet to see, that doesn't exist. You don't have high level athletes who are buying everything from the dollar store.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not saying you can't do things cost effectively.
Right.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've taken ground beef and strained it,
Right. Yep.
but I'm not telling you, Chris, hey, I can't strain it because I don't have time. I want to eat ground beef what's fatty because it's cost effective and time effective.
Right. Yeah.
You see, that's the difference. If it's not going to be cost effective, you're also going to lose time effectiveness,
Yes.
right? Oh, I don't want to buy a treadmill for my house to do cardio. Okay, cool. You're going to drive to the fucking gym in the morning and do cardio.
Right.
That's your choice
Right.
because
Yep.
it needs to get done, and it's part of the to get to your destination. It's going to go there. It's like saying, "Hey, I want to climb out Mount Everest, but I don't want to fucking walk in snow."
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How?
Good luck. I actually had that happen to me in that one of the vlogs I did, right? I was supposed to have 4 ounces of salmon, 4 ounces of chicken for my last meal. Well, I didn't have any salmon for the day. And so I had to make the choice. I was either going to drive across town to buy it and figure I was knee deep in work. So I'm going to lose an hour of potential working time, or I had to pay the price to get it DoorDash to the house, or I could go in there and just do 8 ounces of chicken and then olive oil to cover the fat.
Hmm.
I had to make that active decision, right? Like, but the answer wasn't eat Oreos. It was,
Yeah.
I'm either going to pay a DoorDasher, I'm going to drive out there and give my time up and away from work where I'm literally losing money, or I'm just going to make a substitution. Like,
Yeah.
and I know you've been there in situations like that. Like, it's just not that big of a deal. Like, but you have to sacrifice something. Do I think in that moment was salmon more appealing to me palate wise? 100%. I like that mixture of salmon and chicken. It's delicious. I look forward to it. I put it in the air fryer. It's crispy. But I also like chicken, so I'm like, fuck it. Like I'll just have more olive oil and chicken and vegetables with that meal. It's not a big deal. So
Yep.
yeah, it's really interesting to me that people don't understand that there's like a cost reward ratio where you have, and I've said this to you, and I think I've said it on the podcast, you have to pay the piper eventually.
Mm.
Show day gets here and you're either in shape or you aren't. And you either did the homework or you didn't,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't take back not following your plan, not giving maximum effort on the treadmill, not giving maximum effort in the gym. People will know. Will you occasionally get away with it? Yes, I've had lots of clients that won shows who gave me subpar effort. but they never were long-term successful because they realized that, oh, I can get away with this for this show. Yeah, you did for
Hmm.
this one. But when you went and did North Americans, how'd that work out?
Yep. And I mean, outside of like, if you're winning Olympias and you're getting away with something, like, and we all seen the video of Chris making pancakes, and where he's pre-contest, and he's like, I'm throwing some chocolate chips in there. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. He just won the last, he won 8 of those motherfucking Olympias.
Right,
At that point, he can do what he knows he can get away with it,
right.
right? But outside of that small percentage of people, and at $10, I bet his coach knew about those chocolate chips as well.
Yes, agreed.
But it's to say his coach doesn't know.
Right.
Outside of that, that window of being able to do that is so small. And the last thing you want to do is look back and be like, man, did I take third place at this show instead of second or first because of my chocolate chip consumption?
Correct.
You know,
Right.
because that shit adds up. Like, I can bet you money, like, if you went through and audited how many bags of chocolate chips Chris went through in a year and then did the math on calories, like, it's probably not a little discrepancy,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's something you can't do. Like, we obviously know you can,
Yeah.
but if you're not there yet and you're trying to make shortcuts or alterations when you're not even close to being where you want to be,
Right.
that's why you're staying stuck.
Agreed. What's funny is after Samson won that Olympia and he was getting some heat for like not being peeled, he was like, I won an Olympia. You don't have any right to say anything to me. Then fast forward, he loses to Derek at the Arnold.
Mhm.
Go listen to his change of tune now. He is doing everything in his power to be ridiculously peeled.
Hmm.
Why? Because that sting of defeat said, huh, what I was doing before was adequate in the moment. It's no longer adequate now. I must change behavior if I want that desired outcome. And that's what I think is really cool, right? Because before he was hard set on, no one can beat me, and I'm not doing everything in my power to be the absolute hardest on stage. Now he's like, huh, they took the title away from me, or I guess didn't win an Arnold. And then now I want to win the Olympia. I'm going to have to give them what they asked for. And what's that? It's peeled fucking glutes. So guess what's happening? He is going to have peeled glutes. Why? Because he chose and made an active decision to say, okay, cool, now I'm going all in.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that. They aren't seeing that from the outside. And like, I love seeing that. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's why I tell you I'm so excited to watch Nick on stage. He in his heart believes that Derek did not beat him in Pittsburgh. And
Hmm.
he's like, I'm gonna slam that fucking door in his face and laugh as Bob Ciccarello has to announce me the winner.
Hmm. Exactly right.
And there's a reason he's been peeled since then. Like if you look at Nick right now, not only is he lean, but he is big as a house. So he knows like he's gonna play the freak card and just overwhelm people. So if you look at those two crazy examples of Samson and Nick, that those are two individuals that said, okay, cool, what we were doing was working, but now we want to make it, we want to be unbeatable. In order to do that, you have to do things that aren't comfortable. You have to do things that are hard. You have to sacrifice time, effort, energy, and money
Hmm.
to achieve those, right? Like, and I pray that if anyone takes away a message from today, it's that.
Yep. Oh, 100%. This game is built on those daily, call them sacrifices. Like, it may not seem like much. Like me taking the time to trim my chicken breast before I throw it on the smoker.
Yep.
Like, that's a really easy step to skip. If I'm busy, oh, that's way too much. It takes 2 minutes, you
Yep.
know,
Yep.
and it makes off season better, it makes prep better,
Yes.
and at the end of the day, it's like, that is a little thing I can do in my power to be a better bodybuilder.
Correct. Yeah, 'cause it's like
It's
you
just,
said, yeah. It's like you said,
and
all that fat adds up, right? It may not in the moment, but in a month, in 6 months, in a year, how much extra calories did you consume by eating the tendons, the gristle, the fat on that, right?
yeah. I mean, you'd probably be absolutely pissed off with yourself if you went to a prep and someone gave you a Ziploc bag. There'd be 100 of them, by the way. This is all the fat you didn't trim off your chicken, and this is
Yep.
why your conditioning was not up to point.
Right.
You
Or
know,
why
like
you had to
you could
take.
have been this much better,
Right.
and they handed you a 100-pound bag of fat trimming.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you'd be like, "Fuck."
Yep. Or think about this, Dave. There's a reason I don't have to use T3 with you.
Yeah,
I eliminated an entire drug out of your plan because you do little things like that. I don't have to take your clean to 120. God, I just saw someone's plan from another coach, 120 to 140 micrograms of clean.
yep, yep. I mean, that's why we don't have to do over 45 minutes of cardio.
Correct. Yes. Yes. And you wonder why you have it, you're fuller and bigger on stage and your legs aren't beat to shit. Little things add up, right? And the final thing I'm going to touch on here, like I posted that my morning routine, and someone's like, "Man, that takes too long. There's no way I can do that every single day. Like I have a life, I have a job, I have family, whatever, right? There's no way you're doing that." No, he said the only way you're doing that is if you don't have a job. I laugh because I'm just going to be generous and say I work 60 hours a week. 9 times out of 100, that morning routine that I do is done before 6 o'clock in the morning, or at latest 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I
Yeah,
can start my day. The
I
reason I
can't tell you how many times I've done that same routine and ate my meal one on the drive to work.
correct, yes, and there's a reason. It's like we've been talking this whole freaking podcast. That's why my back has been healthy this prep. That's why my body is running efficiently. That's why I've been able to eat more food than I ever have. That morning routine is cement. It's constant. It's like brushing my teeth, taking the trash out, paying our bills. Like it is normal to me. And if it's not normal to you, it's going to be hard at first to build that into your life. But then do it for 3 months, 6 months, a year. You won't even think twice about doing it. You and I don't think about that. It's like that's how we start our day. It's just like that. It, it's like intro workout drinks, right? The first time I ever had that, I was like, man, that's a lot of liquid on my stomach. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, that's not too bad. And then now it's like I could not envision a workout without it.
Yeah, you know, and it stems all the way back. I mean, I remember the time where I thought 6 meals a day was a lot of food.
Yes, right.
You know, like just eating, and it was like inconvenient as fuck. I was like, man, that 10 o'clock window when I'm at work, it kind of sucks dick to eat. It still does, by the way. You know,
Yeah,
always something happening during that time. You
right.
make it happen. It's a fucking 5 minute process.
Yes.
Back to what I was saying. Like, it's not, and you know, it's like eating on that schedule is different. No one else is doing this.
Yeah,
You know, it's like that's why.
right. Yes.
You know, the oh man, the not many people are meal prepping their food and being, you know, weighing out their food. That's why I'm different. You know, like I like to if you flip that script on yourself of instead of woe is me, it's I'm doing this to be better and these are my goals.
Right.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh man, I have to do this. It's like if you say, oh man, I have to eat chicken and rice, this sucks. So is me. The 30,000 chicken and rice meals I've had in my life say differently. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you the if you want to be a bodybuilder, you're gonna have to do that.
Yes.
Like I'm not saying you have to eat chicken and rice. You're gonna eat probably the similar meals on repeat all the fucking time,
Right. Yeah.
you know? And if you're not okay with that, find a way to make it work or don't bodybuild,
Yes.
you know? And it just goes into that. But like I said, like those little things are not pain, like they're hard, they're difficult, but they're what make you better.
Right. Yes.
And always complaining about them is like the funniest thing on the planet for you. It's like you don't have to do anything, but like if you're gonna do it, you might as well fucking go all in.
Right. Yes. Final example here to cement this home with everyone. The last two gyms you and I have trained at, that Long Beach, Metroflex, and Dragon's Lair, bodybuilding hardcore gyms, right? Both times you and I were in there, what was people's feedback? You two were training. And multiple people will say that.
Mhm.
And we weren't the biggest, we weren't the strongest, but we were training. There was a lot of people working out around us. Lots of people working out. But there's a difference. When you and I picked up weights that weren't warm-ups or feeder sets, it was with intent and purpose. And everyone in that room fucking knew it. And it wasn't because we were screaming our heads off and spitting on the floor and acting like dickheads. And I think that that is what has always separated, in my mind, the good bodybuilders from the great bodybuilders, right? Like the ones who make serious progress, not the ones who are the most analytical always. It's the ones who realize that the basics are what work. Eating our meals, training our face off, do the cardio, rest, sleep, eat, recover. It's as simple as that. I don't think you and I are special fucking snowflakes, but I think you and I found out what have worked for us and we run that bitch into the ground. And some people might say we're crazy or hardcore. That's normal to us. And it has been for a decade.
Yeah.
So, or more. So, like, listen, if you're out there right now, you if you want extraordinary result and progress, it's going to take things that are not always fun at first. The ones who can find a way to love it are how you and I are able to sustain this lifestyle and not have a, oh my God, I'm miserable and everyone around me is miserable because I'm miserable. So until next time, Chris and Dave, be grateful. Yeah, that's the answer. See you guys.